This is part two of a 10-part series on why the Shohei Ohtani signing is bad for baseball. Part one was just general background. This blog will compare the Astros scandal to Ohtani's deferred contract and will then end by discussing Ohtani, Superman, and the nature of the American hero. Houston, a team with a run of 7 successful years, apparently was never even in the running in the Ohtani sweepstakes. Understandable. Houston has their own star players that they're trying to re-sign. Because of the luxury tax, even the rich teams are limited in how many star players they can hold on to. The Dodgers have won more games, but the Astros have been to more World Series, and Houston has won 2 to the Dodgers 1. These two teams matched up in the 2017 World Series, and Houston won this head-to-head in 7 games. Afterward, it was revealed that during their home games, Houston had a man with binoculars in center field. He'd zero in on the catcher's signs and send a signal to the Houston dugout, where someone would bang on a trash can if a certain type of pitch was being thrown. After this became public, the Dodgers vilified the Astros, said they cheated, and I think the Dodgers wanted the World Series trophy rescinded and perhaps even awarded to them by default, which didn't happen. Now, by contrast, the Dodgers won the 2020 World Series 4-2 against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Dodgers' payroll for that year was the highest in baseball, about 4.5 times greater than Tampa Bay's payroll. So let me ask, if your home team, Orioles or otherwise, goes to the 2024 World Series, who would you rather have as your opponent? A team that had signed in excess of top quality players with the aid of a luxury tax dodge, or a team with a $20 pair of binoculars and a volunteer employee sitting in center field? Before you decide, here's one more thing you need to consider. When the guy in the Houston dugout hit the trash can with a baseball bat, the sound had to travel from their dugout, through the infield, over the pitcher's mound, and down to the hitter who was standing alongside the Dodgers catcher. How many Dodgers had to disregard that construction zone thunderbolt for the ploy to be successful? You'd think that at least the catcher would get clued in. Every time I call for a curveball, my ears are assailed by this loud, banging metallic boom bursting out of my opponent's dugout. How oblivious to your surroundings do you have to be to go through 4 baseball games of 9 innings each and not pick up a correlation? But to this day, the Dodgers will tell you that it wasn't a level playing field. Houston cheated. Meanwhile, the fact that the Dodger payroll was 4.5 times greater than Tampa Bay's, well, that's just competition baseball. I ask, in which World Series did the winning team have the more conspicuous advantage? I can do something about binoculars. It's hard to overcome a payroll that is 4.5 times greater. Now, this same team signs the number 1 player on the open market and defers the bulk of his $700 million contract to the year 2034, which allows them to sidestep their fair share of the luxury tax and thus sign even more star players. And they're moaning and complaining about binoculars. Here's the situation. A baseball player becomes a free agent after he has completed 6 years of Major League service. This player can then sign with any of the 30 Major League Baseball teams. The luxury tax was implemented as a way to prevent baseball's richest teams from gobbling up a preponderance of the best free agents. If a team's payroll exceeds a certain amount, the team pays a luxury tax, with escalating penalties for an even higher payroll and escalating penalties for the more consecutive years it continues. This luxury tax is distributed to the poorer teams for their use in their payroll as a way to aid them in their efforts at maintaining some semblance of parity and increasing their opportunity to hold on to their own stars. When Shohei Ohtani defers his salary 10 years so that his team can afford to sign other star players, he is offsetting the very thing that a luxury tax was enacted to achieve. Deferring your contract for 10 years is an extraordinary advantage to give to a team. And Ohtani gives this extraordinary advantage to, of all teams, baseball's winningest team over the last decade. Shohei Ohtani is being ballyhooed as the greatest baseball player on the planet. Maybe he is. If true, it's as if Superman arrived on Earth and had a deep love for the game of baseball. Then he signs on to play with the best team, a winning team that already has Batman and Robin on the roster. But for this new breed of Superman, joining Batman and Robin isn't enough. Superman defers his contract, allowing his already dominant team to dodge the luxury tax so they won't be hampered in recruiting Spider-Man and Wolverine to join them. This isn't exactly the type of hero we read about in our literature. Joe Hardy from Damn Yankees didn't sell his soul so he could join the winningest team. Roy Hobbs, the natural, played in the movies by Robert Redford, didn't give his services to an already dominant team. Our literary heroes join perennial losers with the ambition to turn an underdog into a winner. Even the real-life Babe Ruth did not join a Yankee team accustomed to success. This will continue on the third blog. The third blog will elaborate on the superhero comparison and then compare the deferred contract to the crimes of Pete Rose. Thank you very much.